Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming up with you with another video. Okay, so Zion Williamson, from what I understand, the bone that was broken in his foot is not healing properly. So they're going to go back to the drawing board and have him return back to rehab, shut him down for the time being, and try to see if they can get that thing healed up. So, what is this now? We're in mid December. He's still out. It was just really recently reported that he's now officially missed more games than he's actually played in his career, um, and they're shutting him down further. It's for me, like as someone who's following the situation. For me, it's very unfortunate. You know, when you talk about a bone that's not healing properly, that's alarming because it makes you wonder if a bunch of different things. One being, is the weight that he's allegedly to have all on him, because I saw pictures of him where he looked chubby. I saw pictures of him where he didn't, to be honest with you. So it's kind of etchy where he is with his weight at this point. But did that weight hurt this process? And one has to think it does when you have a problem healing on your foot, a bone healing. You it makes you think that the weight did not help. It makes you think that he didn't stay off of it. It makes you think that he didn't take care of it, and all these different things. But it doesn't have to be that way. None of that has to be the case. Maybe just something went wrong. Maybe it just didn't heal. But uh, what I know about my body and the body that I'm in right now, um, what I often have to do is stay off of my foot, or stay off of whatever it is that's hurting. If I keep messing around on it, if I don't heal properly, it will, whatever it is, will prolong the process. So that's what it is for me. Um, I know that when I'm heavier, it's harder for me to, because I've been heavy. I was heavy as a young person. So when I'm heavier, it's like my body doesn't necessarily respond as well. And when you don't eat properly, when you don't when you aren't mindful of what's going into your body, it can have effect on these type of things. You know, it can derail this process. So you know, how how best for me to, I guess, to approach it is to say, on one hand, I have this variable where it's food and nutrition and him taking care of himself, and there's a bunch of things I say about that, right? But if that's not what's going on, then those things don't apply. So that's kind of what you're seeing me go through right now, is whether or not I really want to bring that part to the equation. But at the end of the day, if it does apply, it does apply. So this is what it is. Um, he's going to have to take care of his body. You know, when he got to New Orleans, I think not only myself, but just about everybody I heard talk about it was essentially saying they were worried about him going to that particular destination because the food is so dang good. Uh, and then when we mean by good, it's not healthy. It's really good tasting stuff. You're going to want to eat a lot of it, and it's going to derail your process of staying lean. And while a guy like Brandon Ingram, you know, you're not going to look at him and say he's going to have trouble with his weight. You look at Zion Williamson, you say that's a big boy naturally. He's bigger than anybody ever. So, I mean, in terms of his body structure and how he is, he's the most athletic player who's ever been built like him. So you never really seen anything like him before, quite honestly. And I think I take that into account as it pertains to whether or not he'll be able to play bigger, because I just think that he's a different level of athlete, a different type of specimen that probably will be able to do freakish things even if he's chubby. But my thing is this: that's not the question. The question is can he withstand another 15 years at 82 games plus playoffs a season? And that is where it becomes a very, very scary conversation, because he can't even get through his first 3 years without having really bad setbacks with his health and allegedly with his weight. So my mind goes straight to Knicks fans who've always wanted him. I wonder if they still do. I wonder if they really do regret not having him, because right now he hasn't played much. Shouldn't regret that in my mind. I still think he has a chance to be a great player, but what has to happen is he's just going to have to heal up, and of course, if there's nutrition to be addressed, he's going to have to address it. And look, I tell anybody who's watching, man, LeBron James is a fantastic athlete with natural ability to jump out the gym and all that. But one of the things that made LeBron James as great as he is the dedication that he put into taking care of his health and making sure that he was at top notch at all times on his body. It's been historically mentioned that he's put $1 million a year into his body or more. And I think that's why he gets the most out of his natural ability. That's why he's still around today. It's because of the habits that he developed in the first 3 years of his career and kept those habits and was serious about those habits the entire time. He knew that it wasn't enough for him to just be athletic and be great. He had to work at it. He had to work on his body so he can get the most out of it. He had to take care of himself in a way that maybe made him sacrifice some things that he want to eat, or sacrifice some time where he would want to relax, as opposed to getting out there doing the grind or whatever it was that would help him stay in shape. So Zion's going to have to adapt to some type of policy about that. He's going to have to start thinking about his taste buds versus thinking about how long he wants to be able to get the most out of his career, or how much money he wants to make in his career, and all these different things. Your taste buds versus your livelihood, because that's the crossroads, I believe. That's the crossroads. At the end of the day, a lot of times people have a hard time putting certain foods down, have a hard time disciplining themselves for various reasons when it comes to their diet. Sometimes it's even psychological. I think whatever it is that's keeping him from bringing his weight down and eating the salads and all that stuff that probably, he doesn't have to eat if he's living in New Orleans. I think if that's the case, he needs to get in there and figure out what it is that he needs to do to discipline himself so that he can get the most out of his body. Because that's really what it is for that variable, That's really what it is. And for the other variable, if it's had nothing to do with his food, if he's eating right, if he's taking care of himself already, and this is just a derailment, then what I say to that is heal up, prayers out, take your time. You're very young. If you're doing all the right things, you have nothing to worry about. If they did something wrong in regards to sending you out there saying you were done, they messed up your surgery, we've seen that before. We've seen that with more than one athlete where the organization's doctors didn't really diagnose what was going on the right way, and it had ramifications on the player. We've seen that. Then there'll be a whole another conversation for that if that's what's going on. No reports of that have come my way, so I don't believe that's the case. What is the case is not sure. We're not sure, but what we do know is he's definitely not healed up from that bone. We know that it's been reported that he's been heavy, and when you have a bone bruise in your foot, or a bone break in your foot rather, and you have more weight on your body, and you're not staying off of it, stands to reason, that this could be the problem. So he's a young guy, which lends itself to make you think that he didn't do everything he was supposed to do. And two, maybe this applies, maybe it doesn't. But when you are super athletic, when you are naturally gifted, you can run around, jump over the moon. You know what I mean? When you can really do the things that he can do, maybe you don't realize that you are not a superhuman. Maybe you don't realize that just because your body can do all that doesn't mean that if you don't take care of it, it'll continue to do all that. Zion's metabolism, he's going to have to work with it, even if it's working against him. And so, like I said, in the picture that I saw most recently, he actually looked really, really slim. He looked good, So, for whatever that's worth, I saw a guy who looked like he had slimmed down over the last couple of weeks. So I'm hopeful that he'll just heal. That whatever they're doing, they'll scrap it if it ain't working. If they have to go back in their cut, I really hope they don't. That would be devastating, I think, for him and their team and all of that. Yeah, I'm on the fence. Some people are saying he's turning into the next Greg Oden. I don't know if we can really make that determination this early. But we're starting to get to a place where if he's healed, if his injuries are not healing properly, then that's where it goes. That's where this heads. It ends up him turning into somebody that's not what they drafted him to be. So I know he's a 30 point, 10 rebounds every single night kind of guy, because he gets some of the easiest buckets ever, literally ever, with his strength and his repeated ability and his motor. He's a monster. He's exactly what you think he is. The problem is can they ever get him healthy enough so he can get out there and be that? So I haven't lost faith in Zion as the player. Hell no. But I am very much concerned about how much of that they're going to get out of him. Very much concerned about whether or not he'll ever develop into what it is we believe he's going to be. So, yeah, everybody, it's just everybody's concerned, I'd imagine. Everybody who's interested in this story is concerned. So we'll see what happens next, man. New Orleans is not that great of a team as of right now. Obviously, they haven't had him. That makes a huge difference. And they're a young team, so they're not in any. There's no urgency for him to hurry up there, get out there, and help people win. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Pelicans should shut him down for the foreseeable future. Definitely for the rest of the season. Let's not even talk about that. He should not be playing in the season. If this is the case, he's shut down. In my opinion, because they're not a playoff team. Now, if they were in the position to say Philly or somebody like that, then when he gets healed up you bring him back. But as far as their timeline and their team versus where he's at in the future and what they have projected for what they want him to be, yeah, he doesn't even need to be a part of this roster. What they need to do is continue to develop the players that are supposed to be around him, shave off the fat of that roster, make it as good as they can possibly get it to be, grab that first round lottery pick that they're going to get next season, attach it to this team, and then bring him back next season when he's healed up. If that ain't at the beginning of the season, I don't care if you wait until the middle of next season to bring his butt back, because he's the future of your team that's supposed to project 10, 12 years. So I don't care nothing about right now. You treat him like Joel Embiid and you sit him for how long it takes, and then you bring him back slowly, and then he'll be what it is you need him to be. The Michael Porter approach, but more cautious, because we can see Michael Porter is now having problems with that back once again. So these are the type of things you're worried about when it comes to Zion, the cautionary tales of the Michael Porters of the world. You just don't want to see him have setbacks with this injury, especially since it's a foot injury. Foot injuries can beget knee injuries, can beget any lower extremity issues when you overcompensate. So it's important they don't bring him back until he's absolutely 100% healthy and above average shape, and in above average shape. So that means healing, resting for the 4 to 6, whatever it's going to take for that to heal, and then starting that process of getting him in shape and working on his whatever needs to be worked on. So it's a process. It's going to be a long one. And that's that, So that's what I got, man. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.